They say you never forget how to ride a bike. Well, apparently it doesn't apply to this sewing machine. Until a few short months ago, the last time I touched a sewing machine, Raiders of the Lost Ark was a new release, and my joints didn't make a popping sound every time I bent down. I'm slowly refitting my narrowboat. I've already finished 3 curtains, and from about 50 yards away through a thick fog, they look professional. Get any closer and you see my signature style, the intoxicated sailor. This is supposed to be there, and as you can see there's a bit of a bow. So the idea was to get this all the way up there so it would stick. However, I've got this panel in the way, so as a short term I put the metal clip there so that the magnet could stick to it. And if you look at the seams, I'll try and give you a close-up, you might be able to see there, not looking good close up anyway, and just in there is a magnet which barely fits in the pocket I made. So I'm going to have to fix that with these next 3 curtains that I'm about to make. I'm learning though, sort of, this time. I'm going to give the magnet some breathing room. I've also realised that sewing in a straight line is actually a suggestion, not a law. So the first job is to get my curtains, the 3 curtains I've got to make, and cut them to size. I'm going to give a little bit extra room at the seam again. Last time I only had about 5 or 6 centimeters to make the seam as I folded it over. That was a bit tight, so I'm going to actually increase that to about 8 centimeters so that when I fold it up and do the sewing, it's got a bit more room to hold the magnets. It's a view from my duck hatch again. I was just making some dinner and I heard a rumble. So I looked out my duck hatch and the dark clouds are there. Let's hope it doesn't come my way. Now of course all of my curtains are different lengths, so I'm going to have to make each one individual. First one, I think I'm going to do the 85 centimeter length. That's the finished length of the curtain, so I need to add another 8 centimeters onto that, so around about 193. Trying to be all clever and posh. I've got some tailor's chalk. Not that it'll do me much good, of course. Okay, so now I need to measure that all the way along there in equal amounts. Right, so I've measured as carefully as I can. I've got my chalk marks all the way across the curtain. So I'm going to start cutting that bottom bit off. If I get it wrong, I've got it wrong. This doesn't have to be that neat, but relatively. Oh, so far so good. Now this bottom half I'm keeping because it's just about the right length, or going that way, for me to cover my bungs, which is something I haven't mentioned before. I have tried to cover one, not very good. I might show you that a bit later, but I'll have enough material to do all 3 of them. Next job is to pin up the seam with my trusty pins, very sharp, and I'm going to fold it over not once but twice, like that, and I'm also going to mark out where my magnets are going to go, one at each end and one exactly in the middle. I'm going to sew those pockets ready for the magnet to go in. However, I'm not going to make the same mistake I made like last time when I tried to sew while the magnets were actually in the curtain. That was a nightmare because of being magnets, they stick to the sewing machine. Rookie mistake. So I folded it over twice like I said I was going to, and don't do what I've just done off camera. Stick the pin into your finger, and yes, it did hurt. No blood, thank you. Right, I'm going to carry on folding the seam over and pinning it up ready to be sewn, and I'll catch you when I start sewing. Right, this is the curtains. They've been pinned up already, as you can see, just a few pins there, and this is the sewing machine I'm going to be using. Let's turn it on. Thankfully, from the last time I used it a few months ago, it is still all threaded and ready to go, I hope. So I've got two threads. One comes off the top from there, from the bobbin, and gets wound through, and there's another one you can just about see down there, and the magic happens when the needle goes up and down. It makes a little knot and moves it along. I've just had a quick look at the weather radar, and yes, I have got some rain and stuff coming towards me. It's not going to be too heavy because I'm just going to catch the edge of it, but the rain has just started. Just a few spots on the water. Not complaining. We always need a bit of rain. Now, I've just got to say, you've really got to be a bit of a contortionist to do this sewing business. Basically, you've got to control the speed with your foot. So that down there is where my foot will go, and that just pushes a lever up and down to control the speed. So harder you push, the faster it goes, and I want to go a bit slow, I think. And up at this end you've got a lever somewhere. Forgot where it is. There you go. Lever that moves the foot, as it's called, up and down. Obviously up so that you can get your material underneath. Then when you're ready to go, you put the foot down and it will automatically feed the material through. There's a little ratchet under there that does that for you. And you've also got to take your pins out as you get to them while holding the seam together in position so that you sew it in a neat and tidy way. Well, that's the plan anyway. Right, first bit, let's get that end seam done. It's particularly thick here because there's multiple layers, so I need to take that very carefully. I'm going to do it by hand initially. There's a knob to the right hand side and that makes the needle go up and down. Seam line. I'm going right to the edge, then I push a lever around the front here and that goes backwards, hopefully. Gets to work. As you can see, I'm probably through. Ah. That doesn't go away, that's me, I'm not. Now what I've done there is I've gone backwards and forwards over the same spot. That's nice. Now this first bit I've got to try and make a pocket, so I'm not actually going to sew all the way across there because that's where my pocket's going to be for the magnet. So I'm actually going to start the seam here. Nice thing is there's boats going past all the time. Being on the canal, it's lovely. Beautiful sunshiny day today. Only problem is it's a bit windy. I can't get this out. Why not? Ah, there you go. Oh, this is fiddly. Help. Take my pin out. Pull my threads out the way. Put the foot down. I'm going to go forward just a little bit. That's not too bad. That, in theory, is my little pocket made. So now I've got to do the seam all the way across there until I get to the middle, and then I make another pocket. I just had a huge rumble of thunder. Didn't catch much of it, unfortunately. Right, let's go and see how I do. I think that might be going a bit wobbly. Oh yes. Oh dear. Never mind, I've got an excuse. I'm just coming up to my middle pocket. I put some pins in just to mark roughly where I want that pocket to be, so I'll take the first one out and I'll show you what I'm going to do in a second. Okay, so just lift it up, turn the material, and then like I did at the end, or at the beginning of the seam, I'm just going to do an up and down stitch just here. So I want that up, and then I'm going to move across and do that one. Want to? Yes. Do that. Kit away. Right there. Come on. I'll do that. Right. This one. Might be. And I think that is done now. All I've got to do is cut off these stray threads, see if my magnets fit. And now that I can see it closely, yeah, it is wobbly. Well, I have to say my pockets look much better than the previous ones I've done, but we will see once I put the magnets in there if they'll fit. Right, now these are the magnets that I purchased to go in my curtains. Only one side is magnetic, which happens to be that side there. I'll just show you. As you can see, if I turn it over, nothing. So that means you've got to put it in the curtain, in your pocket, the right way around. So that is the front. That's the inside, the one that faces the wall. So my magnet needs to go in that way, with the magnetic side facing that way. So let's see if I can get it in the pocket. Oh, fiddly. Oh, look at that. Yeah, pocket's a bit big, I think. The magnet moves. If that carries on and causes me a problem when I hang the curtains, I might have to put an extra stitch in just there somewhere. Not bad. I'll put the other magnets in and then I'll show you my wobbly seam. Right, so I have successfully, I think, finished one curtain, and this is the quality of my work. As you can see, not perfect. This is the best bit, by the way. I'll just show you along the whole seam. Once I get to the middle, you can see I do go a bit wobbly there, close to the edge. The stitch goes over, it gets a bit wider, and it's much the same all the way down. Hopefully you can hear that thunder rumbling. I had to close the duck hatch, so I'm filming through the window now. I have to say that I do love a storm. This isn't really a storm, I guess, but it's nice to have a bit of weather, a bit of change. Having said that, I am actually fairly happy with that. As I said earlier, from a distance that will look really professional. So that's that curtain done. I've got 2 more to do, then I'm going to show you how I put up the rail ready for the curtains to hang. Oh yeah, take down the old blinds that I hate first. This is one I did last time, so that's roughly what it needs to look like. And this is what it is like as it's just come out the box. Got my drill and my drill's ready. But the first job I've got to do is to take down these dreaded blinds. I remember that being slightly difficult last time. Need to be a bit of a contortionist, I think, to get to those screws to undo all of that. If I remember right, this front panel is actually the easiest bit. It's just held on with Velcro. Oh. He says. Ah. Oh, this is awkward. It's held on with lots of Velcro. See, the actual blind comes down straightforward. There's these things here that I've got to get out. The biggest problem is your neck's at a funny angle. Believe it or not, there's 10 screws holding these blinds up. Oh, God, this kills the shoulders. That's 1 down, 2 to go. Right, remember I said there were 10 screws holding those blinds up. I'm going to use 2. That's what I've done the other side, and they're still standing, still up. I'm going to use the old holes because they're in pretty much the exact position I need. Oh, God, it does get you across the shoulders. All right, 1 done. Put this up. I can leave it that for now. Right, this rail is actually quite clever because I can actually change the length of it depending on the width of the window. So just put the 2 parts together. That's the middle, and the end here you can see it says unlock or lock. I just pull that out to the desired length and twist it. Oh. twist it, and then it's locked in place. So I'm going to do that while I'm up there. I've already pulled them out a little bit. Let's just get the exact length. There you go, voila! All I need to do now is to fix it, put the curtains on, then I can mark out where the metal bits for the magnets to attach to goes. See, they're there. Then I just need to decide where I want the curtains to attach down the bottom there. So I'm going to get myself a pencil. Right, so what I'm going to do is I've marked out one side to roughly where I want it to go. I've drilled a hole. I'm now going to be screwing in, it's like a little metal plate that the magnet will attach to. There you go. Nice. Then what I'm going to do is stretch the curtain out to the other side, mark out where the next plate goes. Okay, this is about 2 minutes later. Now it's a storm. Just look at that. You can see more of the water on the window than you can see outside. Just a little flash there. A bit of lightning and oh, there goes the rumble. It's really hitting the roof now as well. Love it. Look at that. No more blinds. Are the seams straight? No. Do the magnets occasionally have a mind of their own? Yes. But I made them 45 years later, and I've officially conquered the sewing machine. Not bad for a rookie returner. If I can do it, anyone can. Just don't look too closely at the hem.